The next question is, why is it bad to use the for-in statement to iterate through an array? Various internet sources will say not to use it, but why is it bad? Let's first start by explaining what the for-in statement is supposed to do. The for-in statement is used to loop through the properties of an object. In the code, I have an object with a few properties. And the for-in statement allows me to loop through the object's properties. But as you can see in the console log, the property order is not guaranteed. This becomes a problem when you are using it to iterate through an array where the index order is important. You can think of an array as an object with a list of integers as properties. And if the property order is not guaranteed, the array index order will also not be guaranteed. So is it OK to use the for-in statement to loop through an array when the order does not matter? Not always. So let me demonstrate the similarities and differences between a traditional for loop and the for-in statement. In this first example, I have over here, I have declared an array, and I will be iterating through it using a traditional for loop as well as a for-in statement. And as you can see in the console, the output is the same because it was a very simple case. But now let's look at a different situation. Over here in this example, I'm going to declare an empty array, and then I'm going to populate the 5th index. Now, in a traditional for loop, I'm going to get undefined, 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 undefined for all the previous indexes, and then I'm going to get the number 5 for the last one. But in the for-in statement, it skips all of the undefined ones and only logs the 5th index. That's a major difference. And let's look at another example. In this third example, I'm going to add an extra property to the array prototype. This might happen if you use some external third-party JavaScript library. And the end result, if I use a traditional for loop, it just logs all of the indexes. But if I use the for-in statement, the extra property shows up in the console log, and it is iterated through. These differences do not necessarily make the for-in statement bad. There are just some things to consider when deciding between using a traditional for loop and a for-in statement. If you want to guarantee traditional behavior, though, you should definitely use a traditional for loop or use the for each method.